My face is dirty. I did come from outside and I did not wash my face. So, what we are gonna do is just go wash my face real quick. So, I'm just washing my face real quick. In fact, you're in here. Hi. Thank you so much for joining. I just wanted to do a live real quick, like really, really quick, because I had a really interesting dream and a really interesting lesson from the Lord about that dream that I wanted to share. So last night, I can't recall. I should have wrote it down as soon as I woke up, but I can't recall all the details. But one thing that happened that I do remember is there was chaos all around me, right? Everybody was running everywhere, and I don't know why, but I just remember there was just people running all around me. And I don't know, I just felt panicked, and I felt like just like not at ease. So for some reason, I see this chair right in front of me and I grab it. Because at the time I think that I need it. So I grab the chair and some guy just comes out of nowhere and grabs the other side of the chair. It was like a foldable like lawn chair. A guy grabs the other side of it and pulls it and tries to take it out of my hand. I go off. I cuss the guy out. I'm enraged. I feel all of this rage and I just unleash it onto this guy and I cuss him clean out. And so the guy, he looks at me right after I get done cussing him out. And he just looks at me like this. And then he lets go of the lawn chair and walks off. Like, and as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, I messed up. I messed up big time. And it wasn't funny at the time. Because as soon as that happened, I woke up. And God has been getting on me about this. But I knew right then and there I messed up. Because I know one thing that I learned about dreams, I've been asking the Lord a lot about what do dreams mean. And one thing that I've learned is that what you do, a lot of the times it feels like you're kind of just being dragged, to and fro in your dreams. But what you do in your dreams is a reflection of what goes on in your subconscious mind. It's a reflection of who you really are. Like a lot of the times, like you would do something in your dreams that you would never do in real life. But because in real life, like a lot of the times we overanalyze and we overthink and, there's just stuff that we think about doing that we would never actually do in real life. But in our dreams, it's like whatever your first thought is, wherever your mind goes, that like it completely shapes the reality of the dream at that time. So it's kind of like it's just your first thought. If your first thought is violence, to get angry or to be scared, all of a sudden there's going to be violence. You're going to be cussing people out apparently. And if your first thought is to be scared, guess what? That's when the dream turns into a nightmare and everything is scary and you running for your life all of a sudden. So, yeah. And so I've been learning a lot through my dreams, a lot about myself through my dreams. Dang, this is the best live I've been on. Really? I haven't even gotten into the meat of it yet. But anyway, so yeah, I'm Yeah, so I just get done cussing this guy out, and he just looks at me and walks off like he won, bro. Like, and I knew, I was like, oh, I just messed up. And the reason why I said that is because I revealed in that dream my temper. I revealed in my dream that I have rage in me, like real rage, and that I am very much capable of just going off on somebody, cussing them out, and like not even thinking twice about it. Like that was my first thought. It's just to cuss the guy. And man, I went in on this guy. And the crazy thing is, I can't remember a single thing I said. I can't even remember, but I know for a fact, and that's crazy. I feel like that, God, he's gotten involved with that, but because how is that possible? How is it possible that I know that I cussed this guy clean out? Well, not clean out, because my mouth was filthy, but I know for a fact I cussed this dude out. I just can't remember a single thing I said. But when I woke up from this dream, I felt really ashamed. At first, like at very first, my first thought is to be like, dang, because I'm exposed, and I know that in that dream, that was the enemy exposing me to God. Like, oh, look at your daughter. That's why he looked at me like that, like he won. Look at your daughter. Look at this tirade that she just went on. Look at how filthy her mouth is. Look at the rage and the hate and the filth inside of her. Look at her. Look at your daughter. That's what that was. So when I woke up from that dream, I was like, but I didn't let that happen for too long. Like I didn't feel that shame for too long because God, he got on me about that. The enemy loves to play with me in my dreams. So he's been going through this with me for a while now. Like, don't allow the enemy to make you feel ashamed. Don't wake up and the first thing, that's terrible too, to wake up and the first thing you feel is shame. You start your day off feeling ashamed. You start off feeling gross and and just filthy, and I feel like that's the effect that you have when they attack you sexually in your dreams. And just like when they attack you in your dreams, they're trying to expose you, and they're playing with your emotions and all of that, but they want you to wake up feeling some type of way and just ruin your whole day. They want you to start off your whole day feeling whatever emotion they evoked out of you in that dream. And God's telling me, do not let them do that. You do not have to feel ashamed. Just take note of what is going on. Just like he tells me all the time, do not stop dwelling in self-pity with these dreams. Learn from the dreams what you need to learn from them and ask me for help. So that's what I did. When I woke up from this dream and realized, okay, so all somebody had to do in this dream was try to take a chair away from me, and all of this rage just bubbled up and just spewed out of my mouth. Okay. So I got up and I sat down and I was like, Lord, okay, so I still have rage issues. Like I knew this about myself. And I still have a lot that's going on. Where do I go from here? And God, God is awesome. And he's so patient. And he was like, dang, I want to get my notes. Hold up, because I wrote this down. Hold on. Well, I didn't write this down as clearly as I could have because I was just writing stuff down just so I wouldn't forget. So the gist of what I wrote, I'm about to read it anyway, but the gist of what I wrote is that I think I left my notebook downstairs too. No, I got it. It's right here in front of me, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. It doesn't all make the most sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know. It might make sense to you when I read it, but I titled it "Abide in Me." This is what God was showing me or was telling me. He was like, "Abide in me." That's all you have to do is abide in me. When it comes to, because this happens a lot in my dreams, like, I just feel like these characters, these really sinister characters in my dreams, they're always playing with me, and they're always playing with my emotions and evoking all of this emotion out of me. So God's response to that is, you just have to abide in me. It says, or I wrote earlier, abide in me. It means to stay in him at all times. So I wrote, Jesus is my peace. I live in him, and he is in me. He is my abode. If he truly is my abode, that means I have him in any and all situations, and I won't ever lose him. That means I'm placing him to the side whenever I get mad and lash out. I'm choosing to separate myself from his peace. Jesus, hold up. Oh yeah, I'm choosing to separate myself from my peace, which is Jesus, when I cuss people out of rage. And this goes for whether I do it, actually like in real life, or in a dream, or in my head. Because we have to remember that God, he sees all of that. If somebody does something to us, makes us mad, and in our heads we're cussing them out, we're telling them off, we're degrading them and all that other stuff, God hears it. Like, it's literally as if we're actually doing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a thought, Jesus, or a dream or what, because the fact that we're actually pondering on that thought and we're visualizing ourselves do whatever it is that we're doing that we know God doesn't approve of, that it's still us. Mm-hmm. Like, what we do in our minds, it's like what we're doing in the spirit. God, he views it as it's in our heart. We're having that thought, we're pondering that thought because it's in our heart. And so, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's the heart that he wants to get to. It's the heart that he wants to cleanse. It's not just about avoiding, doing certain things in your dreams. And that's what I thought it was about at first. I thought it was about, I just need to get more control over my dreams, and I just have to, I just have to learn how to lucid dream or something like that. I thought that's what it was, but it's not. The issue is my heart. That's the issue. And the darkness that's still in my heart. I lashed out on whoever that guy was in my dream because I still had darkness. I still had rage in my heart. It's not about controlling the dream so nobody can mess with me in my dreams. Another thing that I learned about dreams is they're for practice. They're practice. It's like, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure whether or not it's like the spirit realm. Like when we're dreaming, it's like our soul or our spirit is off in the spirit realm, and experiencing other spirits and dealing with, like, I don't know. All I know is dreams are very significant because they're host is inviting you to go live together. Turns off invites for this live video. Oh, I ran out of time, but I wasn't expecting that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can come on later. But I want to get this out. I just want to get this out. I lost my train of thought. Great. So our dreams are very significant because what we do in our dreams is a reflection of what's going on in our heart, I believe. And so they're there. The dream characters, or whatever they actually are, I don't know, are whatever they're doing, whatever emotion that they're evoking, whatever is going on, it's happening to reveal what's going on in your heart. I think that's one of the purposes of dreams. Look up hackstore.info on Google. Why? So yeah, I've just been learning a lot. But yeah, to get back to God, he was just telling me, don't dwell in self-pity. Just what do you have to actually take from this dream? And what I took from it is I still have a lot of rage in my heart and darkness. And so he told me to abide in him. Me abiding in Jesus means staying in him at all times, because he tells us in his word on several occasions to abide in him, to stay in him, to dwell in him. Jesus is my peace. I have a choice to keep my peace and to choose peace or choose violence or rage. It's so cool. You will love it. Hackstore.info. I don't know what that is. What is it? What's it about? Right. So, yeah, Jesus is my peace. I have a choice to choose to keep my peace or choose violence or rage. And you can't serve two masters. Choose Jesus consistently at all times. Choose Jesus. If I abide in him, I get to keep everything. In other words, I get to keep my peace. I get to keep my joy. And I get to keep my love. I get to keep everything. Everything that God has to offer. I get to keep it when I abide in him. And so at that moment when I cussed the guy out and I let all that rage just bubble up. At that moment, I didn't choose God at that time. It's like I made a choice to choose rage instead of choosing the peace that's in Christ Jesus. And that dream character, or what I truly believe was the enemy exposing me. And the enemy does that. They love doing that. That's how I know it's them. Because they do it all the time. They expose us all the time, and they mess with us all the time to reveal the darkness that's in us and rub it in God's face to try and hurt him, or I don't know, maybe to make the case that they're just like us, and how is this fair that they get to have all these chances to get it right, but we got cut off, or something like that. I don't know. But what I'm learning is that I have to, in order for me to truly abide in Jesus, and I asked him about this before, because I would read Psalm 91 every night. For like a few weeks, I was reading Psalm 91 every morning and every night. And I was just like, okay, so he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I would be like, Lord, so what exactly does that mean? How do you abide? How do you dwell in the secret place? What does it mean to dwell in the secret place? And I gained more revelation on what that means this morning after that dream. See, God, he truly works everything out for our good, because he's just a genius like that, and he knows how to turn everything, regardless of whether the enemy is in it and trying to ruin everything. He still knows how to turn it into something that's going to glorify him, because he's a genius. That's just what he does. It's about Jesus and love and how to spread gospel. And please do it on stream. Maybe on the next stream. I don't know about that. I've never heard of that. Hackstore.info. I never heard of it. I'll have to look it up at another time. Sorry. But so choose Jesus. That's the gist of the lesson that I learned, is to not forget about him. To not forget that he is my peace, and with him I don't need to lash out. I don't need to be angry. Why did I get so mad over this chair? I don't know. I don't know what the significance of the chair was, but basically it's like I had something in my possession and it enraged me that somebody came along and tried to just pry it out of my hands. But when you're in Christ Jesus, and when you're a believer of his word, it's like we're supposed to know that he's our supplier and he is the restorer. He will restore everything that we need and everything that is due to us. He has us covered, right? He's our supplier, he's our provision, he's our everything. And I say this all the time. God, you are my everything. You are my everything. And he has our backs. And regardless of what we lose, regardless of what gets stolen, regardless of what happens here, he's always here to take care of us and to supply each and every need or want that we have. So I have no reason to get mad and so indignant because somebody took something from me when I have a God who restores. It didn't just, that instance didn't just reveal the darkness that I had, or the fact that there was darkness in my heart. Specifically, it revealed an insecurity. It revealed a lack of faith in God. It revealed rage, insecurity, lack of faith. And I feel like I'm just in survival mode. And somebody was trying to take something that I needed. Which is a lie. But yeah, I used to really loathe dreams like that. And it's I'm trying to be careful with my words because I also learned a pretty hard lesson about speaking on certain things as if, there's, I can't really explain it. I don't really know the words. I'll have to explain it later when I can, I don't know, come up with the words, but I want to be careful with the things that I say. To give you an example of my pause is, one time I was doing a live or making a video about a really bad dream that I had, and talking about how bad it was, how demonic it was, and it was just so this and so that, and it was just so creepy, and oh my God, it was the worst dream I ever had. That night I went to sleep and had the worst dream I ever had, and the most demonic dream I ever had, and the most disturbing. So I spoke those words. That was the worst dream I ever had. That was so this and it was so that, just to go to bed that night and to have the worst dream I literally have ever had, and the most demonic and most disturbing thing happen to me while I was asleep ever. So our words, it's like, oh, jeez. That's another thing. That was another reason why I felt away after I woke up, because our words, I can't remember what I spoke. I wish I could remember exactly what I said, but I can't. But I learned that our dreams, it's like they're like keys. They unlock certain stuff in the spirit, and it's like when you speak things, you really have the capacity to actually make them happen, like to actually like have stuff manifest around you in the physical just by speaking something. And I don't know what I said in my dream, but I guess if it was important or if God wanted me to know, he would allow me to remember. So I'm not going to fret over it. But yeah, man, I don't know how clearly I got this message across. I wanted to help you guys learn something, or at least get the gist of something that I learned. Um, to abide in Christ, it means to choose him at all times, at any given time. Like, it doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what we're going through. Excuse me. Remember, remember. Don't forget God. Remember that he's there. Remember that we are believers. It's up to us to believe God, to believe his word. And if he says that he has us covered, he will take care of us. He will keep us away from evil. He will restore all things. That means we don't have to worry. We had no business being in survival mode. We have no business getting so mad because somebody took something from us. When God can replace it, he will replace it. He will restore. He will take care of us. And when we lash out and we feel all this insecurity and when we feel like we're in this survival mode and we feel all of this desperation, because that's where, rage essentially really comes from. It's like it stems from fear and it stems from desperation as well. And it stems from helplessness. When something happens and you feel like there's no control over the situation, you know, um, you feel like you have no control. You feel like this thing that happened to you has such a power over you that you lash out. It's like an animal that's like in a cage or caught in a corner, and it lashes out and like tries to paw or scratch your eye out or claw your eye out or just attack you, but they're doing it in defense because they're scared. They don't know what you're about to do. They're scared, and basically, it's fear. It stems from fear. But God tells us all the time, do not fear. Do not fear. I never looked this up myself. I will but somebody said that the term do not fear is in the Bible 365, at least 365 times. That's enough for every single day of the year. I thought that was really profound. I never looked that up myself to see if that was true. But what I do know is God definitely, he did tell us on many occasions in the Bible, do not fear. And there's so many things that are just of the devil. Insecurity, rage, self-pity, all of this stuff, it stems from fear. But when we're abiding in Christ, when we're staying in him, when we're aware of him and his perfection and his just majesty, his glory, and his promises that he made to us, when we are aware of them and when we believe them, it's like there's no place for any of that. We just have to remember, and we just have to consistently call on God to remind us. Consistently read his word and just repeat it, because faith comes by hearing. Say it out loud and repeat it to ourselves over and over and over and over again until it's in our subconscious, and we don't even need to say it anymore, because like now it's in there. Like, that's how many times we need to repeat this stuff. We have to actually get this stuff in here, and it needs to become a part of us. Like, it needs to become a part of our programming. But yeah. So that's one interesting thing about dreams that I learned recently, is that they help to show what's going on in here, and what's going on in here as well. And if you're being attacked in your dream, right? Regardless of what happens, you don't need to wake up feeling like you lost, and like you're so ashamed, and like you're so disgusting, and like this and like that, because the enemy, he did this and that and exposed you. At the end of the day, the enemy does that because they think that they're one up God by revealing certain stuff and darkness that's in your heart. But God, he saw it anyway. He knows what's in our heart. God, if he was to put us in a situation to reveal like darkness in us, it was for us. It was to expose that darkness to us. God already saw it. You can't surprise God. So when the enemy does that, it's just like a really, desperate and like pitiful attempt to try and humiliate us and expose us to God, but God already knew. But he uses them and allows them to do that so we can see it, and so we can address the darkness that's in us, and call out on him and ask him for help on how to deal with it. So yeah, I did that this morning as well, and he told me, abide in him, choose him, don't choose rage. Stop choosing rage. Oh, and that's another thing too. Because I would ask God, like, Lord, I feel like I have virtually no control over these dreams. I have, like, how am I supposed to just stop doing this and not do that? And how, if I don't have any control, like, how am I supposed to control my first thought? Like, what am I, like, what you really want from me? I had that conversation with him before, and he told me that dreams, how we deal with things in our dreams is pretty much just a reflection of what goes on in here, right? And it's I wanted to say practice. It's kind of like practice, but it's more so a result of what we do in real life. Because like our subconscious mind, it's just our programming. It's like it's what goes on in here automatically because of the habits that we picked up over the years. So our thought processes and what we do in our dreams is just a result of the habits. Our habits that we already have. So when that guy tried to steal from me, it was my first thought to get angry, because that would be my first response in real life, is to get angry. Now, I might not have actually cussed somebody out in real life. Probably would have just, I don't know, called the police or just let them have it. But my first thought would have been to get mad. And after that person, if they were to steal something from me, after a while, I'm sure for a fact I would envision myself cussing this person out. I would call them all kinds of names. I would have nothing but disdain, nothing but. I would be furious. I wouldn't show it on the outside. At least I would try not to. Excuse me. Because I know that, when you're a Christian, when you follow Christ, there's just a certain way that you're supposed to carry yourself, right? But God, He explained to me that don't really mean nothing. God actually sees what's in our heart, and what's in our heart matters. Our heart needs to change. And then our actions. Like we can try, of course. Like, I'm not saying like you might as well just go all out and just do what you do, and whatever comes to your mind, or whatever comes natural to you, just do that regardless of what you know is the right thing to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, and excuse me, I know I have like congestion. My nose is kind of stopped up. But anyway, I'm saying God knows when we're being fake. He knows, if He knows what's in our heart, He knows what it is that we really want to do. He knows what we're thinking. And whatever front that we're putting on, He sees right through it. You can play this nice person and this holy and sanctified person, and your actions can reflect this holy and righteous and Christ-like demeanor. But if in your mind and in your heart you still have hate and resentment and all of that stuff, but you're just covering it up, God sees that. And that needs to be addressed. That hate and all of that animosity and that resentment, that can't go with you into the afterlife. That cannot stay there. It needs to be addressed. And we need to allow God to cleanse that from us. It needs to be out of us. So God has been really putting it on my heart to stop being fake, to stop putting on airs with Him, because He knows what it is. I can't get nothing past Him. And that's why I believe that it's one of the reasons why He's allowing me to be extra attentive to what's going on in my dreams, and what these dream characters, I guess that's just what I call them, are revealing to me about myself, so that I can deal with this stuff and stop putting on airs and stop trying to act like I don't have these issues when I do. We all have to deal with this stuff. All of the trauma that's going on, all of the anger, the rage, the resentment, the unforgiveness. We have to deal with this stuff. It cannot come with us. When we take our last breath, we cannot have any unforgiveness in our heart. He told us this. It cannot be there. So, when it's revealed to you, whether through a dream or through real life, if something happens and, you learn something about yourself, you learn that you got anger issues, you learn that, you're still pretty good at breaking somebody down to dust and reading them for filth and all the other stuff because you just did it to somebody that just pissed you off. You're still good at being mean and being spiteful. You still have unforgiveness in your heart and all this other stuff. When this is revealed to you, don't dwell in self-pity about it. Don't try to hide it either. Because you can try and play yourself all you want, but you can't play God. Once He knows when you've caught on to certain stuff. He knows everything about you. He knows every last one of your thoughts. So once this stuff is revealed, be responsible. And the responsible thing to do is to go to God with it. God, I learned something about myself today. I'm still dealing with this and that. Please show me how to get rid of it, because I want it gone. Just be honest with God. Talk to him, and he will talk back to you. You know, what I did this morning is I just sat there. He revealed all of this to me this morning. I just sat there and I was quiet and I was just listening. And he revealed all of this to me. Just stay close to God. Talk to him all the time. Talk to him all the time, as often as you can remember to address him, as you know, just talk to him all the time. Ask him the important questions. Ask him what you need to ask him. Ask him how to get rid of all of that gunk and all of that darkness out of your heart. And learn from your dreams. Ask God what these dreams mean. Like what is it that he's trying to tell you? What is it that's going on? What was the significance of this in the dream? Like ask him, because these dreams, they have significance, real significance. So just talk to God and ask him what's going on with you and everything else around you and what it all means. Just ask him. Okay? So thank you all for listening. I just wanted to get that out. Hopefully it made sense. And you guys be blessed. Stay close to God. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all in the next live.